Hello, everyone. It's Randy Myers. I want to welcome you all today. Today we have a guest speaker, Callan Fowler from Deer Park Elementary School down by Cincinnati. She is an elementary teacher that is going to share online lesson plans and other best practices that she uses. We will have questions at the end, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Callan.
All right. Awesome. This is odd because I can't see anyone but my screen, so just let me know if you can't see anything at all. So like Randy said, I'm Callan. I teach down in Cincinnati at Amity Elementary, and she just asked me to go ahead and share some tidbits that have worked with remote learning, if that's where you are right now during COVID. So SOS, teaching PE during a pandemic. A little bit about me, I teach K-6 in Cincinnati. This is my 8th year teaching, my first year in a pandemic situation. I have my contact information on there. On Twitter is at Miss PhysEd or PhysEdUDP, along with my Instagram handle is on there as well, and my email address is down at the bottom. So again, this is my 8th year teaching, my first year teaching in a pandemic, and it's crazy, but I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some resources that have kind of helped me get through. The biggest thing I think when I asked Randy what she wanted me to kind of talk about was how to hold your students accountable while teaching virtually. This is kind of that rocky situation. I don't know what everyone's school district is doing about grades, but my biggest thing was to definitely keep it fun and engaging. Also providing lots of family-friendly activities. I know in the spring we got hit pretty hard pretty quickly. The parents and families were overwhelmed, but I found that if I could create engaging lessons that included everyone in the family, that helped motivate our kids as well. Our kids down here in Cincinnati are definitely motivated by seeing others do an activity, and when your family is involved, you're more likely to do that activity. And I had so much feedback from families saying that, you know, we didn't even know that we were learning while we were doing your activities, or just little things that I had our kids do throughout that time. Keep it simple. There's so much stuff out there online that you can get swamped with all the glory of teaching remote, if that's where you are at. I think just keep it simple, know your students, know their culture, know what works for you, but also try your best to stick to those standards the best way that you can. Keeping it engaging. So again, if you are strictly remote or if you're doing hybrid, we are currently on a hybrid schedule right now. So my kids are here 4 days a week. We're off on a Wednesday, and that's our virtual day. So I try to tie in whatever we're doing those 2 off days onto that Wednesday to keep it engaging and keeping it fun. My biggest thing with teaching is building those relationships. If you can build those relationships, and we all know that before your kids log on, it's going to set up for success versus trying to get to know your kids and convince them why moving is important, especially at this time. So when you're making these lessons, definitely keep it family friendly, keep it engaging, keep it fun, keep it simple, but also know your students, build that relationship, take that time to really get to know them. I normally have a playlist playing right now, but my computer restarted right before we had to log on. So I would normally have some kind of upbeat music when my kids log on, asking questions through the chat to get them relaxed, get them ready for the day. This is one example that I have created that you can use online, or if you're still teaching within the classroom. It is PhysEd Jeopardy, and I can share all of this if you are interested in that. So with PhysEd Jeopardy, again, I can do this remotely if I choose, or I can do it inside of the gym. So I set this up with Google Slides. On this activity, I'll have 5 different categories, and I can either set my kids up in a team. If it's online, I can just have them in groups and let them know who's on your team. They'll meet with each other and kind of arrange themselves in a situation of who's going to ask the question or the category, and then we'll select the answer. So I kept one about me. So again, it's building that relationship. It's fun. They get to know me. I'll get to know them. But I also try to throw in hitting those standards. So we have a category of my health, and I'll click on some of these. Skill and locomotor, and then also PE questions. And one of my professional goals is collaboration and cross-curricular. So I threw in some Ohio questions on there as well. So I will just run through how this works. The students would select a category just like you would in Jeopardy, select your point total. So if I clicked on my health for 100 points, it would send me to this page. We should limit the intake of this hidden ingredient found in foods. I would have my kids, if they think it's fiber, they would do the movement that falls under fiber. If they believe that answer is sodium, they would do that movement that falls under sodium. So if your camera's not on, you can't see. I'm doing star jumps for sodium, and I'm doing kind of a skier jump for fiber. I would then click on there, and it highlights the correct answer. So that gives them some movement. It gets them thinking. It lets me know, hey, my kids know that sodium is a hidden ingredient found in foods. Or maybe, hey, my kids don't know that, and this is a teachable moment right there. I can leave there. I can select another category. So I can do PE for 300. This health component of fitness is how long a muscle or a group of muscles can work before fatigue. Same thing, my students would do that movement exercise depending on what answer they believe. I would click on it, and then it would demonstrate or highlight the correct answer. I created GIFs this entire time, so I've been really big on creating GIFs. And how I did that, I know a lot of people do it differently. The easiest way that I did it was I would just record myself on Zoom. I would add it to a website called easygif.com. I was able to upload my GIF and then kind of slice it the way that I want it. So I can walk through that as well if people are interested. In the skill category, same exact thing. You should bend your elbow in the shape of this letter for an overhand throw. And that kind of ties into our standard-based assessment. That I pulled it right out of the K2 assessment. It's on there. We'll click it. You should bend your arm in the letter L. I'm going to go back. Sorry. Let's see. Let me go home. Nope, I'm Tiger Singer. I'm sorry. I don't know where my pictures are. So again, there's GIFs of me. I have GIFs of our Cosmic Kids Yoga, which a few of my kiddos partake in, so they recognize her. I'm really big on using my GIFs just in case I don't see those kids. We still have that kind of face-to-face interaction if they're unable to come to one of my Google Meets. So that is one interactive activity that we do as a group. And then I'm going to go ahead and cancel this out so I don't have to roll through the entire Jeopardy board. So just hang with me. This is a second warm-up that I've actually used this entire week. We've been in school for 4.5 weeks. And there are some kids that I do know. There are some kids that I don't know. Things have changed from last year to this year. So this is an activity I call This or That. I use it as a warm-up, and I can change it in and out. And it's inspired by Mr. Condra, and I follow him on Twitter as well. So with this, I have music playing as they're warming up, and I will click on it. So getting to know my students again, building that relationship, they're getting to know their classmates in the same situation. So this question just simply says, do you have siblings? An easy look around, they're getting a quick workout in. I know who has siblings. I can see who don't have siblings. And there's also an interactive timer down here. So we could do that for 30 seconds. We can do that warm up for 15 seconds. So it's something really engaging and fun and new for the kids. We added in questions like, did you go swimming? So just easy, fun things. They can look around and say, oh, my friends did this. My kids really like this. They're surprised that I'm an early riser. And I'm surprised that some of my kids are early risers versus late snoozers. Again, they're getting a lot of cardio in, so I try to hit on that. I'm like, this is going to be about a 3-minute warm-up. We're going to hit on cardio, upper body strength, core section, as well as our lower body. They got to see me and my personality do my funky chicken, getting to know if I was a cat or a dog person. So this is something that you can do in the building. You can do it if you do a Google Meet with your kids, and you can also do these activities. If you just add it online, they can do it on their own time with their family, and just for fun as well. So that is my this or that warm up. And I'm going to click through here because again, I can't see. This is one that I recently kind of created and snagged at the same time from a gentleman I follow on Twitter as well. I'm really big on Twitter. If you're not on there, I preach it all the time. Get on there. There's great resources. Our PE community is phenomenal. We're always sharing. We're always collaborating. We're just helping each other out. So pre-COVID, I did an activity, and it's a warm-up where my kids would get a physical playing card, and they would move around the gym. They would switch cards with people. When the music stopped, they would look at their card and correlate it to whatever workout was posted on my board or my projector. To eliminate that switching of cards without cleaning, I kind of turned it into a virtual thing, but I also saw this again that someone else created. So on this Google slide, I created exercises or movements on one side, and I went to YouTube and embedded a random card generator. So on this, I did it in the classroom. I'll just pick a kid. I'll click on the button. Whoops. Sorry, I must not be. I wonder if I can do this. So I would click on this. It would start spinning. I would say, okay, Randy, tell me when to stop. That kid would say stop. We would correlate what that card choice is to the movement exercise on the opposite side. So it's a king. We would do 4 burpees. I would select another student. I'd spin it again. Sammy, stop. They selected a 4. So we would do whatever that corresponding exercise is. I've also embedded a timer just in case. There's one for plank for 30 seconds, running in place for 30. My lights went off. Sorry. Plank for 30. That way they're still focusing on that exercise without actually counting that time. So that's something simple that you can do. I added in a more complex component to this to really get your kids thinking about, is this a muscular strength activity? Is it muscular endurance? Is it cardio? Is it flexibility? And that hits on our standards as well. So there's different ways that you can manipulate this one, and I put an example on the screen. You can have or ask the kids, does this activity enhance your muscular strength, your muscular endurance, your cardiovascular? So I'm thinking if you do your random card generator and they pause it, number 8 is crunches. And this is where you can have that feedback with your kids. Number 8 is crunches. Where do you think this falls into? Give them time to answer, and then you do that activity with them. You can also have them demonstrate a muscular strength or a muscular endurance or a cardio or a flexibility exercise with this one. This is a new one for the younger grades. I know Randy was talking about assessments and how can we assess our kids virtually. This one is a fun, interactive way to assess them. So what the kids would do is click the key in the top right corner. It would take them to a closed treasure chest. Each chest has a number in it. They'll click on that number. It'll take them to an outside link, just another GIF, and give them a description of a locomotor skill. And then they would try to click the correct locomotor. So we would choose a number. I'll pick 2. They'll read, or again, you can read this to them. This is for more kindergarten through 2nd grade. It fits that standard. Standing with your feet shoulder width apart, you bend your knees slightly, do a long jump off of one foot and land on the opposite foot, keeping your eyes up and forward. They might say it's skipping. Oh, leaping, sorry. So then a GIF pops up. And then the 3rd one, stand with feet shoulder width apart, bend knees slightly, step to the side with your lead foot, your back foot chases to catch. I just edited this one. I always tell my kids your back toe is kissing your heel when we start to get, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. So a slide, sorry. I failed that one. So the kids would read through it, or you can read through it for them. They can select one, and then it pops up as a GIF. It's been a long day. I'm sorry. I need to take my test again. So this is just something that may be easier for your students, and you can definitely modify the verbiage for your kids and do whatever works for them in your situation. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here and pull up. This is another type of assessment piece that I would send my kiddos just to see how they're feeling after the activity. And again, it hits on a standard as well. So I can either use this after an activity and see the various ways my kids, how their body is feeling after a certain warm up. So if we did this or that warm up, I could kind of cool them down with, show me how you feel by doing one of the motions. Are you feeling warmer after that warm up? Are you breathing faster after that warm up? Is your heart beating faster after that warm up? This will also open up that conversation of the things that your body feels after you do a warm up. If they know how to express that, what their body is going through when they're doing an activity, whether it's a vigorous activity or a low to moderate activity, your kids will be able to express that either verbally or just physically showing you, this is what I feel when I'm doing that activity. Other ways that we have used that is, tell me an activity that makes you breathe faster. Tell me an activity that you could do that makes you feel warmer. And it's just amazing to see, like, if we're doing all the same activity, but different kids respond with different answers when I pull this one up. So that's pretty neat to see as well. Whereas I think an activity makes me breathe faster, another student is like, dude, I'm like really warm right now. That really got me going. So how do you feel about remote learning? So my kiddos just got done. This is the last week of our striking. We worked on putt-putt for the first week of school. This is one of those quick assessments that I did, and my title said, how do you feel about putt-putt? And I had my students pick a motion to correspond with their feelings. So they loved it, they liked it, they never tried it, not my thing. I related it to us, how do you feel about remote learning? You love it, you like it, never tried it, not my thing. I'm gonna do this. It's not my thing, but when I have to do it, I do get it done. This is something that's super simple to create, and I can definitely walk through with anyone how to embed your GIFs if you choose to make them into a Google slide. There's also a ton of GIFs out there with just random people. There's a website called CBHPE.org that is full of amazing resources from PE teachers all across pretty much the world. A lot are within the United States. There's some from Australia and China that are really credible. I've got some things on there. A lot of my GIFs are on there as well. They have resources for hybrid learning, for strictly virtual, for face-to-face learning, modified activities that you could do. And I strongly suggest just to look on there for ideas. Uh-oh, Randy, I'm done. I talked too fast. And I can definitely go back.
No, you're fine. You did great. We'll open this up for if anybody has any questions for Callan.
Do you want me to stop presenting?
Yeah, go ahead. You can stop.
Okay. I don't like not looking at people.
So if anybody has any questions, go ahead and come off of mute and go ahead and ask Callan your questions.
Please throw them at me. I'm ready. Nope.
No questions?
No. Is Randy, on our chat, do we know who all is doing virtual or face-to-face?
Nobody's written in the chat. For Callan wants to know who all is doing any virtual learning right now. I know I asked this last week, but I don't know who's all on this week.
Is there anything that I can do? Again, I'm not teaching virtual. We only do it for a day. But I definitely have a lot of resources that can be used virtually if you need them. If not, virtual pre-recorded.
All right, we have virtual. Nice job, Callan. A lot of good ideas. Hybrid right now, but going to 4 days next week. Virtual pre-recorded. What do you do on Wednesdays? Yours is where you actually meet up with them, right?
Yeah, so this was our first like working Wednesday. And my team, we just got a bunch of resources together. We Schoology, and I don't know what your platform is, but we are just throwing those resources into a folder. But we do meet collaboratively as a unit. So art, music, and PE. We'll either pick something that's fitness related on a Wednesday, music related on a Wednesday, or art related, and do it as a whole school. We're not technically meeting individually with kids, but it's working for us. So in 2 weeks or so, we're going to do kind of a small kids Tabata, and opening it up for grades 1 through 6. At 2 o'clock, if you're able to show up, show up. Those that cannot show up, we have individual resources that we put into a Schoology folder. So like one of those activities that I put in there would be in that folder. That PE Jeopardy is in there. I'm trying to get myself enough courage to work on Flipgrid. Our music teacher uses it all the time to do Flipgrid, to get our kids to record and then upload. And you can definitely use that for assessments as well.
Okay, awesome. Yes, Mary, this one is being recorded. Sorry. Yes, this one is being recorded, so we'll have access to Callan's slideshow after this. If she wants to share her slideshow, she can, but since it's not actually an ODE slideshow, I cannot share it. So you will be able to see it on the recording, but if you actually want access to it, I will put her email address in the chat box. She had it on her first slide.
I can go ahead and pull that back up too.
Okay, good.
My first page. I feel like I haven't marked. So I'm like, oh. So my second page. Am I sharing it yet?
Yes, you are.
So again, my Twitter handle is on there, as well as my Instagram, and then my email address is on there as well. So I can share my Google slide with you, if that's what you want. And again, I can walk you through. I am not tech savvy. COVID has really pushed me out of my comfort zone. There are some things that I'm still learning how to do, but there are so many amazing people out there that I can just ask and they've got an answer for me right away. So if I don't have the answer, I can definitely find it for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions about how she did anything on here or want her to explain anything further? You guys are being quiet today.
No.
Callan, are you familiar with Seesaw?
That's my next task. I'm
Okay.
showing this so I can see the chat. Is that okay?
No, you're fine. I know that Susie in here had some questions about Seesaw last time, so I was just seeing if
hold on. I just got
on that one.
I don't know if everyone got off, but I'm going to open up. We're going to go on to my stuff. We just got sent these Pear Deck emails, and I actually opened it up today. So I don't know if anyone is using Pear Deck. Am I still sharing?
Yes, you're good.
So we're going to get all into my stuff. Let's see. I might go to my Google slide. So Pear Deck just came out with PE, art, and music related templates. And here it is. I think this is something that can be really are used for our kids as well as assessments. How do you feel, again, when you're exercising? This is something that you can use to monitor your kids as well. How did that exercise go? How did that activity go? There, you can edit them too, so I can put that in the chat. Something else to get to know your kids. I don't know how often you see them. I don't know what grade levels you teach when you start school, but this is something, again, to get to know your kids. And if you need to plan your lessons around what your kids are interested in learning, I think this is a great tool to use for that. What challenges did you have in that activity or lesson that you taught? That could be a great exit slip. How do these skills or concepts apply to other activities? Again, it gets them thinking, how can I use what I just learned in phys ed outside of the classroom? Which activity would you rather do? Again, getting to know your kids. So this is something that Pear Deck just came out with, and I was super excited that we weren't left out of the loop on this one. So I added this to our school feed today as a resource for later. So
good.
Yeah.
What would be your advice, or what's your experience with contacting parents? What's your method?
I feel like I'm lucky because I have a really good relationship with my parents. It's a humble brag, but I always go to my kids' athletic events or like concerts, so I get to know my parents that way. I send home postcards in the summer, so I built that relationship from the start. We communicate with Class Dojo. I don't do phone calls very well, so that's not like my strength, but I definitely send home notes of encouragement, parents and the kids as well. And then Class Dojo is our main source of communication. So,
and is that working during like the remote too?
Yes. I think I'm more in contact now than I was before. And I think it's just because I only see my kids 2 days a week now over the course of 4 to 5 weeks, versus the 1 day a week that I would see them. So I know keeping that relationship solid and letting them know that I'm still here, I'm still the same person, I still love your child, really helps our relationship.
Yeah.
Those cards like are everything. I do it in the summer. I do them over extended breaks, and then I just send like little tidbits home, like such and such had a wonderful day, or I'm just thankful that Billy Joe is in my class today. Just little things to let them know.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Parents.
Does anybody have any questions yet? How many kids do you have?
Right, like in a real or like in a
right now, how many students do you have?
We're at half capacity, so in a pre-COVID year it's 750. Right now, I couldn't tell you the number, it's less than that. So I see probably about 100 or so kids a week in comparison to the 750 that we would normally see.
Okay, and then you have the rest of them on Wednesdays that you have to teach?
Yes, so the kids that are strictly virtual, I only see them once a week. And I think that's where we're trying to pull in, again, it's all new. I think we're trying to strictly pull in those kids that are virtual, that we don't ever make contact with, to set aside a classroom time to meet with them. The kids that are face-to-face, they're still required to come online on Wednesdays, and that's who we meet as a whole group. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the ones that we don't see, we have office hours, I should say, that are set aside for them specifically. And then the kids that we see twice a week, they're open to that whole school activity, whatever we're doing.
So on Wednesdays, I know that you go to the school on Wednesdays for your virtual day. Do you do face-to-face virtual meetings with all of your kids?
Oh, back up. So I'm actually in the building 5 days a week. We only have kids in the building 4.
Yeah.
The kids that we don't see have permanent office hours. We haven't met with them the last few weeks. We were getting things ready. But from today on, I think we meet with them for about an hour or so. The kids that don't come to school, the kids that do come to school, that's that whole class, that whole group mod podge of excitement. That's all I want to call it. It's excitement.
Gotcha.
So we're still seeing every kid, just not in this traditional way. If that helps. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Anybody have any questions yet?
There's one more.
Can you put any of your stuff on Seesaw? Is yours all through Google Classroom?
I am learning Seesaw, so not yet. My stuff is actually embedded on Schoology. I can share it with you. I don't know who asked that.
Susie Carpenter.
Yeah, Susie.
Yeah, I can share it with you. And if you want to upload it on Seesaw, by all means do that.
Susie, her email address is in the chat if you want to email her.
Okay.
I can put it again.
Okay. Where is it?
I just put it again. It's Fowler.c, that one?
Yeah.
Do you see it, Susie? Okay, good.
Yeah, just send me a quick email. I'm still here and I can send it to you right away. It says 30 minutes once every 3 weeks. Oh, that's from Susie.
Okay.
But the catch is I have 2 schools that have that enrollment. So that's why it's once every three weeks. So like I have double what you have.
Yeah.
And I have to send out virtual stuff to 2 whole buildings like that on Mondays. And then we see AB like that. I'm at one school AB Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the other school Thursday, Friday. But we have that many students. I have over 750 in the other building too.
What levels do you teach?
K5.
Okay. So are you double planning?
All through Seesaw. We're supposed to do everything through Seesaw.
Yeah, so in the spring, my core team used Google Classroom. We've all decided to use Schoology, and I can put in links that'll take them to Google Classroom, but it'll all work in Seesaw. I'm confident that it will work in Seesaw. Is there anything else?
Come on, Ted. I know you got a question for her.
I need to put it on my screen too. I'm going to put in that CBHPE.org website chat. That has a lot of resources as well. Again, it's phys ed teachers that have some amazing resources on there that will help just get us through this time. So just check it out. It can be overwhelming, but Becky and Mark, they work on it nonstop, organized in a way that it's easy to search for a picture, it's easy to find content, and things can be modified. So
I think Ted has something to say.
Oh, I'm hoping we stay in school. 'Cause we're in school 5 days out of the week, and I'm hoping we stay that way.
I know.
Because to see like the how that is presented, that's going to be a challenge for me. But we're working through Seesaw as well,
Okay.
and a little bit of Google Classroom is from like the older kids. But it's going to be a challenge to me or for me to go that route. But it's all good information. You're doing super.
Ted, if I can do tech, you can do tech. You know how.
I hope.
Yeah, Seesaw looks like something that I could definitely jive with. I just haven't gotten there yet. But
You can actually incorporate either Seesaw into Google or Google into Seesaw, right? Your classroom. Can't you interface those? I don't know. I was told that, but I'm in the middle of both. So, like I said, that'll be a challenge for me. And we have a 2-hour early, well, a late start next Friday, I believe, and we're going to work on some of these things. So hopefully we get that far and gives me a chance to get some time in with other teachers that, have been working on this and doing this stuff to give me a little help along the way. So working on it.
Ted, there was someone that I know that just presented on Seesaw. I can send that to you if you want to take a look at it.
That would be okay.
Okay, I'll do that.
I think you got my email?
I do. Oh yeah, you're star.
All right, thanks. I appreciate it. Need all the help I can get.
Hey, Ted, how many kids do you have virtually?
Right now, we're not doing anything virtually. We're every day in school.
So it wasn't even offered to the kids virtually, or if they're virtually, they have to go to a out of district academy?
We're going to come to our school, or you're going to have to go out on your own to either do homeschooling or find your own virtual learning.
Gotcha. Well, okay, that's good.
So
Scott Burnett wants to know what district you are, Ted.
I'm in Versailles, east, or it's West Central, over by Greenville, Piqua, Sydney, that area.
So I have meetings on Tuesday with Central Ohio. So Callan, Andrea, and Ted have been with me all summer. So we've got to know each other.
Yeah, and everybody's welcome to come, I think, right? They can pop in over there if they want to.
I think so. I'm not sure if that ESC allows everyone or not. But this one is under the Stark County ESC, and they have been generous enough to let everybody from Ohio attend. So thank you to them again. Any more questions? I'm going to tell Janet, can you please put the link in? We can go ahead and put it in now because we might end early.
Okay.
So Janet from the ESC of Stark County is on here, and she's going to put the link for the contact hour. She already did it. She's very fast. So that is how you get your contact hours from this meeting. So if you want to click on that link. And then anybody have any questions, whether it's about Callan's presentation or if you just came because you have a situation that you have a question about and you need ideas or you need something answered, now is your time.
Hey, Susie, will you send me just a quick email so I can send you my slide? Just so I see your name in my inbox as a visual reminder.
I know some schools, very few schools, yesterday was their very first day of school. So I think everybody has started. Is there anybody on here that has not started school yet? My niece and nephews literally just started. Their first day was yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And they're doing the hybrid. So they're doing it alphabetically. So their last names at the end of the alphabet. So they started yesterday, but the beginning of the alphabet started Monday. So, and I think they're going 4 days a week. I think Friday is their day off, I want to say.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope it helped. I'm still doing day one stuff, so it's like week 4 and I'm still doing day 1 stuff. It's like Groundhog Day all over again.
Hey, I mean, we're all learning from this. Yeah. You guys are in the classroom, so that's why I bring you guys all together.
Thank you, Susie.
Andrea, make sure you get that link.
Susie, I'm sharing that with you right now.
One of my classes had 4 students who are now out for 2 weeks. Oh, so they got positive tests?
I don't know how they're doing it. I'm just, you know me. Right now there's kids in every class. Like if they display 1 symptom, 2 symptoms, they're out for like 10 days.
Wow, I sneeze all the time. I'd be out. That's just my allergies.
Yeah, so I mean, and that was what class was that? My second grade class today. But what we've got it worked out for our Google, because we're using Google Classroom. So what we're doing is all the special teachers were in one Google Classroom. So for our in-person, our face-to-face kids, we're actually posting assignments in there every week. So they're still not losing time with us. They're still able to work on what we're doing. And then for our virtual kids, we're co-teachers in those teachers' classrooms, and we post assignments in there. And then for our face-to-face, we're doing face-to-face. It's a little, yeah, I'm running all over the place. My gym, I still can't use my gym. My classes are conflicting with recess schedules. So, yeah. So I'm still trying to figure out some things, but it'll work itself out.
Hey, you're doing much better. Last time you were just laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
You're doing better, Andrea.
Yeah, so the music teacher was out today, so I had to cover one of her classes. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Really? All right. Yeah, so
you have a great attitude about it, though.
You have to at this point. I mean, it is what it is, and we just are kind of going with it.
Yep.
Seeing what happens. Yeah. So.
Hey, is anybody on here a high school teacher? I'm curious about accountability with virtual high school kids. I know that was an issue last year. Amanda, how's your accountability? Are you doing any virtual?
Actually, I'm teaching 2 of the digital academies for both PE and health for my school. So I have 147 students in my virtual academies.
Are they actually attending?
They are, yes.
Oh, that's good.
We're actually working it through a program called Edgenuity. And so there's also pre-programmed lessons and direct instruction, journal questions, and a bunch of different tests for them to take. So it's not a lot of actual physical activity. It's more of just paperwork to learn the information, but you know, it is what it is. It's what my principal wants.
Yeah, so. I know last year when this all first happened, I was getting a lot of emails about kids were not showing up at the high school level. They just were choosing to skip class for PE. So it's good to hear that they're taking accountability.
Like last year was horrible. We couldn't get anybody, but so far this year we're getting assignments turned in. We're actually starting to think about project-based learning. We want to do, we figured having them create their routines for standard 1 would be a good idea to do by themselves at this point.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't have to do it in front of the class, and the only people that would see it is me and my co-partner. So we thought that might be a good idea for at least right now.
That might be actually something that whenever this is all over might carry over for the kids that are super shy and don't want to present in front of classes. That might be something that carries over. I
know I wouldn't want to dance in front of other people or do some type of routine, but
well, that's a positive. I'm glad to hear that at least your high school kids are taking accountability. Scott Burnett, you said you are a high school teacher too. Are you doing any virtual learning?
We are in the building, but every class I teach at the high school level, which is freshmen, have at least 1, if not 2 or 3 remote learners. So right now we're doing physical fitness. So any testing that we're doing in class, I'm searching videos or alternatives, because like today we did the shuttle run, And I know that some of my students don't have room out in their yard to do a shuttle run. So I had to Google and find, there was a quadrant square, quadrant hop, something that I found in a home fitness test booklet by a phys ed teacher, that so they could test their agility by doing the hop test.
Okay.
Just trying to find, I spent all day Saturday just trying to find alternatives for those kids for this week. And we do block scheduling, so I only see those students maybe 2 to 3 days a week.
Yeah.
It's that part that's frustrating, trying to find alternative things for them to do similar to what we're doing in class.
Yeah, understandable.
You mentioned accountability. I've tried to have my students video the testing that they do, just so that I can see that they're doing something.
Yes.
But today I had a parent email me and say, my daughter's really shy and she doesn't like to be in front of the camera. Can I just sign off and say that she's doing the things that she's supposed to be doing? And I asked my principal, he said no. He says, we want to see the video.
Yeah, I mean, it would be different if it was like, the whole class or something like that. But if you're the only one seeing it,
yeah. And
I mean, there has to be some accountability when you're.
And they're supposed to be on the Google Meet during class. So when we do our warm-ups, I expect to be able to see them. Well, I'm seeing the ceiling and I'm seeing them move out of the screen. And so we're not supposed to be giving any credit for attendance that day if they're not on screen where we can see what they're doing.
Good. I like that.
So I expect them to go through the warm-ups, and then I tell them, okay, go off and do whatever testing you need to do, whatever I sent you today. And then they can log off and go test and then just shoot me a video so I can see that they did that.
Yeah.
And now, again, I have some students that, by the end of the day, I've received their videos and, I've commented on them and they've commented back. Some of them are doing great, but about half of them are still, I don't want to be on video. I don't want you to see me. Some of them just didn't want, honestly, I just don't think want to be in phys ed this year. And they thought maybe if I go remote, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Well, when midterms come out, I'm sure they'll get a reality check.
I hope so.
And even messages to the parents like, hey, I can't give your kid a grade if I can't see them. Maybe they could, talk to them and give them a little pep talk.
I've sent out more emails this year so far than I probably have in 4 years.
Callan, were you about to say something?
I was just saying that about the camera thing. We don't force our kids, I guess, to keep their camera on. Some people don't want you to see their house. But with the whole video thing, I would just try and encourage that person, or just remind them, like, you're the only person that's seeing this video. Maybe you'll delete it as soon as you assess them, just to make it less stressful for that student. I don't know what that student's situation is, why they don't want to be reported, but I gave that option to my kids as well. Like, this is probably what your fitness test is going to look like. And you could do your push-ups 8 times and I wouldn't know. Like, you could do them 8 times, record it, and then find the perfect way to do your test and send it to me, and I wouldn't know that it took you that many times. It's just sad that our kids don't have the confidence to just do it on camera, knowing that you're going to be the only person seeing it. And I'm sorry that you're going through that, but I would just try and reach out to kiddo maybe one more time, and maybe get an alternative assignment. You might just have to do that. I don't really know. I don't know if it's the right answer, Randy, to give an alternative assignment.
If they were in class, they would be expected to participate. And I'm the only one that's seeing any video that they submit. I check it real quick to see if they did it and return it back to them and say, hey, great job, nice job, thanks for participating. But again, I can understand a couple of the students being very apprehensive to put themselves on camera.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Especially if your school is offering the choice of doing virtual or going to school. If you're choosing to go online, then you have to know what comes with that, and that's going to be video submissions. So, you got to kind of pick and choose your battles on that. So, I like that your principal's saying no, they need to come on, because I mean they're high school kids and they understand that you're the only one seeing it. I think maybe I mean they're pretty smart. They're gonna say what they can to, you know, not be accountable for some things. So we know all the excuses. So I like that you're still holding them accountable, and I would just to back yourself up, I would just keep reminding them, if I can't see you, I can't grade you. If I can't see you, how am I supposed to know that you're even here? You might have turned the screen on and you might have left. So I would just kind of say, you know, if you're not here and I can't see you, I can't grade you. And as long as you keep saying that, keep posting that, when they get their midterm grades, they can't really complain about it. So hopefully at midterm, it's a wake-up call for some of them and it changes around.
And that's our policy, is that they've got to be, not just in phys ed, but in all the classes, they have to be visible on camera the whole time.
Yeah,
just as
exactly.
they were in the classrooms.
Yeah, I mean, if they were at school, if you can't see them, like they just start walking the hallway, how are you supposed to grade them, you know? So no, I mean, that makes sense. And I'm really glad that all of you on here are holding your students accountable. That I know that was a huge issue when this first happened. So I'm glad that that is going well and that everybody's sticking to it. So that's awesome. I'm hearing really good ideas. I'm hearing a lot of positives. I like that the positives are outweighing the negatives. I think you guys are doing awesome. So anybody has any final questions? I know we have about 9 minutes left. Janet put the link back in the chat. If you did not get a chance to grab that for your contact hours, go ahead and do that now. And then if you want to reach out to Callan for anything that she presented, go ahead and do that. And then this presentation will be up on the ODE website under the physical education resources on the page where you get the link, probably next week. So you can check back on that as well. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes if you have any last minute questions, or if you want to get any of that information or have any questions for Callan too, or anybody else on here, go ahead. All right, it looks like nobody has any further questions, so I am going to give you a few minutes of your life back. Is this the first session that will be in the ODE website? There is currently still the August 6th session. I don't know if I'm going to leave that up or take that down. I might take that down since it's old now. Not sure, but that's the only video that is on that page. I know that there is a whole page dedicated to our PD that we put on in August. So that is on another page that is teaching in an uncertain times page, and that will take you to YouTube videos that we did during that professional development in August. But on the PE resource page, yes, the one for August 6th is the only one up there right now. I don't record all of our open forum discussions. I'm only going to record when there's a speaker, you know, something like that. I know you guys don't want to hear me talk that much. All right, I'm going to go ahead and have them stop recording.